What is up, beautiful people? It's Wolf Brother Mythos from the channel Frost and Fist, and welcome to this video. I am finally back for a live chat. I know it's been a hot few weeks working some weekends, and then we had a hurricane here in town. And then I was out of power for about a week and a half. It was crazy. And then, yeah, so finally I'm back. hopefully nothing else goes wrong. But yeah, I gotta be honest, like, you know, despite some issues here and there and whatnot, I've been pretty blessed. Things could have been so much worse. Nobody got hurt. I didn't lose any property. And even after being out of, you know, power for some time, family member, you know, some family of ours got their power back first and invited us over. And so the family and I were able to sleep in some nice crisp AC, you know, and have all the luxuries of a properly working household. So, you know, I'm blessed to have good people in my life. Before that, there was a couple of nights where it was just too hot to sleep in the heat in Texas. So the the pupper and I went out to the car, you know, locked the doors, turned on the car, got the AC going for a little bit, and just kind of slept in the cool car for a few nights before we went over to our family's place, and just kind of cranked the car on every couple of hours for a little bit, go back to sleep. But yeah, it was you know, we made it through. Everything was okay. I got to say, we blew through quite a bit of our savings, just some of the extra costs and eating out, you know, because we had to throw away everything in our fridge. So eating out every day for almost a week, you know, it was an interesting time. But even though we blew through some savings, like I said, we were blessed in the way that we came out and the way that people took care of us. So it was all good. Anyways, hurricane aside, yeah, it feels good to be back. Yo, stream time. Good to see you, friendly neighborhood inquisitor. Have an awesome night, my brother. We'll be watching later. Much love. Thank you, Steve. If you guys haven't followed Who Took My Dice, brother Steve has been cranking out quite a few videos lately. So go check him out. See some good content on his Black Templars lately. Welcome back, brother. Good to see you. Hell Works by Hellchild. I missed you, my friend. Yeah, I can't imagine how hot it was down there in Texas. It was hot AF during that time period for me. And I'm in the Northeast. Yeah, it was, there was some triple digit days here, not going to lie. It was nothing like, you know, going to Arizona or New Mexico, but it was pretty hot, pretty hot. And of course, you know, here, right there in the Gulf, we had that super humid, you know, like sticky, wet humidity that kind of clinged all the heat to your skin. I know in a lot of places I go, at least it cools off in the evening time here, but because it's so humid here in the Gulf, that even after the sun goes down, you're in the dead of night, like 2 a.m., and it's still almost as hot as it was earlier when the sun was out. So, but I'm finally back. I've finally done a little bit of hobbying again. You know, things are normalizing. I got in a game with Brother Atlas, and this time we didn't play Warhammer 40,000. We played some Star Wars Shatterpoint. It is the Star Wars kill team kind of game where it's a skirmish battle. And yeah, taking just small squads as opposed to a mass battle. And we only played a half game because usually you take 2 strike teams, as they call it. But because we were learning and we spent a lot of time in the book, you know, to make sure that we were getting rules right, it was kind of a learning game. Even though I played before, that was a little over a year ago, and I couldn't remember all the rules, and it was Atlas's first time, and so we basically spent more than half the game in the book, you know, trying to sort out and follow along as closely as we could, having watched tutorials and still just trying to look everything up for ourselves. And admittedly, the first couple of times I played, those were also just beginner games. I made the mistake of, I fall into a trap sometimes when I don't know something. You know, I let the person who does know the game kind of take the lead. And so when I have to go do it on my own, I don't necessarily have the rules as well stuck in my head. But this time, both of us were new, and we actually, what I should have done the first time, stuck our noses in the book. And I feel like actually looking up every ruling. Of course, you'll probably need to do it a couple more times for it to stick, but I felt like I understood the rules so much better. It's not a difficult system. It is a pretty easy to understand system, pretty straightforward. A lot of what we were looking up was like, what does this status effect do? What does this symbol do? That kind of thing. But yeah, overall, it was an awesome time. I played, we were both playing light side. I was playing Ahsoka with Clan Kryze, which is Bo-Katan, and her Mandalorians. And then my brother was playing Obi-Wan Kenobi, along with some clone troopers with Commander Cody. And yeah, so it was, usually you play 2 out of 3 sets, right? They're short games, and there's a lot of comeback mechanics, which I like. I don't know if you guys have ever played. Hey, X-Gear Commander, happy freaking Friday, my brother. I hope you're doing well. So I don't know if you've ever had a losing game of Warhammer or any other tabletop game, but it really starts to feel like once you start losing, you know, you're in a bad spot. It just goes like straight downhill. you lose control and it's hard to pull control back, right? And I'm not saying every game of Warhammer is like that. There are some very back and forth games of Warhammer. However, they include in Shatterpoint comeback mechanics. Most of them. Yeah, it can feel like that, my brother. But in Star Wars, there are actual mechanics for comeback. And so that way, it's things are going one side or the other. It changes the situation to make it easier for someone to make a comeback. And it results in closer games. And as such, I said you play 2 out of 3 sets usually. And basically what happens is that you have, they call it a struggle counter. But basically it's your scorecard, right? And when you meet a win condition, you win, that it's basically you're winning a round, and you don't rearrange any of the miniatures on the table. I think each of you heal 1 status effect and whatnot, and the round starts over. Well, with that, the person who lost that previous round, like, everybody stays in position, so the game still goes on, but what resets is the scorecard, and the person who is losing gets to pick the next active objectives. And so being able to choose the next active objectives kind of gives them an edge going into the next fight. Another cool thing is that it's considered a low lethality game. I mean, you can eventually kill characters, but what happens is that each character has like at a minimum 2 health bars. And even if after you knock out their last health bar, they don't die until that character's turn again. So one thing a lot of people like is that we've all heard of freshly painted bottle syndrome. You get a brand new miniature, or maybe it's brand new, freshly painted, and you're so happy to put it on the tabletop. And before it gets to do anything cool, it gets focused and killed, right? But because it doesn't die until its turn, that means you always... And it's at the end of its turn, so you always get to do something with that miniature. You're never going to have a game where it just gets killed and is out of the game before you get a chance to do anything, which I think is pretty neat. So, like I said, I have been working on my Shatterpoint figures. So I went into the game. You guys have seen them on my bench before, just assembled, not even primed yet. And so before the game, I primed them, and then after the game, I was so jazzed about the game that I had to start slapping some paint on them. So I have finished my 2 Clan Kryze Mandalorians. I just need to do Bo-Katan, and that, that team will be finished. This is one of the Clan Kryze ones, and this particular one, if you follow the show The Mandalorian, is kind of based on Sasha Banks' character, which is cool. In the show The Mandalorian, Sasha Banks is her WWE name, but she was one of the Mandalorians bodyguarding Bo-Katan, part of Bo-Katan's team. And I liked her as a wrestler, and so obviously I was a fan of her in the show, so I painted her up, kind of as she is in the show, or very similarly inspired by. And then this one, on the box art, he's more painted like Din, the main Mandalorian from The Mandalorian. But instead of painting it like the box art, I painted him more like the other member of Bo-Katan's team. So silver breastplate. But, like other parts of his armor were blue. So, yeah. Pretty pleased. Oh, one of my favorite things. I hummed and hawed about how I was going to paint the smoke plumes. And so what I did was I painted the smoke plumes with, painted them first white by hand brushing them. And then I airbrushed some hot orange from Vallejo. Focusing more of the yellowy kind of parts towards the top and getting them a little more orangey red towards the bottom. With hot orange, it's just basically the more paint you apply, the darker it gets, right? And the more orangey it gets. And the lighter you apply, the more yellowy it gets. So I did the kind of the transition, making it a little more orangey red down towards the bottom. And then I dry brushed all over the round parts with an off black called Pavement. And yeah, I kind of like the effect it came out with. So I'm really pleased with that jump pack effect. So I did that on Sasha Banks' character. And so next will be Bo-Katan herself. And I'm really intimidated doing kind of the intricate work on her helmet. But yeah, and I wanted to make sure that I finished off Sasha Banks' miniature so that way I'd have a better idea of what I was doing with the smoke plumes going into this. So that's where I'm at. And if I get a chance to lay some paint down tonight, which I'm sure I will, yeah, that's what I'll be starting on next. The other thing we'll be doing tonight, of course, is we'll take a little bit of a look at the upcoming Codex Imperial Agents and the new model for Coteaz, which has a lot of people upset. I 3D printed my version of Coteaz for my Imperial Guard, and instead of doing him in the gold armor, I put him in some beat up old steel. Well, I put him. The one I printed out is a lady, so I gave her, instead of the traditional gold armor Coteaz has, put him in some steel armor to better match my Imperial Guardsmen. However, I'm starting to have, just looking at the Coteaz miniature more and more, I'm starting to get the feeling like maybe I should go in the other direction. The gold armor is part of Coteaz's distinctive look, and so maybe I should take that back and actually give this person some gold armor, paint over all that beat up steel. You guys let me know what you think. Maybe if I put the white fur at the top and put the gold, make the armor gold like Coteaz, it'll be more recognizable. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think. Whatever you do, don't get the new Coteaz. Yeah, the new one, this, I say all the time that I'm a big fan of Primaris. I'm a big fan of Primaris. I like a lot of the updated stuff, and a lot of people don't agree. Often people tell me how much they like the older models of things. And I almost have to feel like, I don't know, I almost feel like when I'm talking to some of these people who have been into the game for a long time, I almost feel like I have to apologize or explain myself for liking the newer stuff. However, and a lot of it's because, I can just take the aesthetic as it is now without any emotional attachment or investment into what came before. And I almost find that to be something of an advantage in some cases, because rose-colored glasses are a thing, right? Sometimes we look at things fondly, and just because we remember how we felt at that time, we look at it something as better than it was before, or we remember something better than what's around now. And this is the rose-colored glasses effect can be seen with a lot of things. Some people don't like any movies past the 70s or 80s, or music past those times and whatnot. But in this case in particular, I gotta agree with the old school. I love the look of the old Coteaz, and the new one just doesn't do it for me. It looks, the very squat look it has looks kind of like they drew some inspiration, which is from Age of Sigmar, which is no shade. I like Age of Sigmar models. I like Sigmarines, but it's like they took the idea of Coteaz, and they took the idea of the Sigmarines, but they put them together and just didn't execute the idea well, is what it felt like. Beer goggles aren't fixing that model. Just not the diaper one. Oh, I didn't think about it before. I guess he does kind of look like he's wearing a big armored diaper. Oh, I'm on board with you. I'd love the new stuff. Coteaz is the first ever upgrade I've hated. Yeah, I gotta say, I agree. I find myself for one of the few times that this is one of the upgrades that I don't like either. He looks like a generic Ordo Malleus Inquisitor. He has no personality. Yeah, well, I guess since we are hot on the topic, let's go ahead and jump over to that argue. When I can, I'll kit bash a replacement for the new icky model. Well, I always love your kit bashes, and I look forward to see what you come up with, brother. All right, articles and art. And screen capture. I'm on the wrong screen. I'm on the thumbnail screen. But we'll fix that. We'll fix that. Yes. Oh. Boop. All right. And now hop over. Codex Imperial Agents. Unleash the might of the Emperor's Inquisition. While billions of guardsmen and redacted space marines fight the Imperium's wars on the front lines, a powerful yet mysterious presence safeguards it from within. Few loyal citizens would admit to even having heard of the Inquisition, let alone witnessed its agents in action. But those who have know to fear their invisible hand, for they have the ability and, more importantly, the will to destroy whole planets in the Emperor's name. These Inquisitors rarely take to the field in person, but should the need arise, they can draft entire armies into their service. Some latch onto larger Imperial forces and operate from the sidelines, while others assemble companies of auxiliary troops into cohesive armies. And both approaches can be found in the new Codex Imperial Agents. Now, the cover here, actually, Coteaz on the cover here looks pretty pimpin'. I gotta say, it's not. It's a good-looking cover. Mythos broke it. Honestly, last thing I'll say on Coteaz, he looks like a reskinned Stormcast Eternal. Exactly. That's what I was kind of mentioning with I was calling them Sigmarines, the Stormcast Eternal. Yeah, it looked like they kind of combined the idea of the Stormcast Eternal and the idea, not necessarily the look of Coteaz, but the execution just didn't come off well. Hey fam, sorry we were late. Never at all. A gamer with coffee is never late, nor are they early. They arrive exactly as intended. That's an insult to the Stormcast, and I'm not the biggest fan of Stormcast. I feel like it was made with Stormcast in mind, just not well executed. But yeah, the Coteaz on the cover here looks pretty cool, actually. They did a great job with the artwork. It's just not in the execution of the model. This means Codex Imperial Agents can be used in two distinct ways: to add specialist inquisitorial aid to your army, or build a dedicated inquisitorial force of your own. Those familiar with their current rules will recognize the Assigned Agents Army rule, which allows a certain number of units to be added to other Imperium armies. Their roster has been expanded to help fill out your Ordo Xenius, Malleus, and Hereticus presence, with Deathwatch kill teams joining the retinue units. This is what everybody has been forecasting. Everybody's been saying for a long time now that Deathwatch were going to be rolled into the Imperial Agents, and here they are. I think it's kind of cool to, just have some Deathwatch to being able to be added in like salt and pepper into other armies. I almost want to play with the idea of adding in some Deathwatch in with my, I don't know, maybe, I don't even know what I want to use them for. It's the thing, part of me is like, should I sprinkle them in with my Custodians? Should I sprinkle them in with my my Imperial Guard, my Sisters of Battle. I just don't know what use. I guess that's the thing, is like, how good are they going to be, and what use would there be to adding them in? I guess we'll have to keep an eye on that. We want to Kit Bash Noon, Death Watch, and Grey Knights. Oh, that's cool. We got to show you some love, and I always appreciate it, Ashley. Hope you and Greg are doing well. Is this a faction that Greg needs? It is. So Imperial Agents, I mean, they can be used on their own, which is a new thing. But mostly they help add some flavor into other armies. So I don't know if it's necessarily a faction that he needs, but if he wanted to add some variety to his Ultramarines, say, there could be some Imperial Agents that could go into Greg's army. For instance, some of the assassins, like they're almost all of the assassins are good, especially for their points cost. The assassins do pretty well, or in a single Inquisitor, like one we'll be looking at, could be good. The Inquisitors tend to have pretty good rules. Oh, he doesn't need them then. They're not overpowered. They so like normally, I'm often trying to throw very strong options at Greg, like Greg, you need a Redemptor Dreadnought. Greg, you need a Repulsor Executioner or a Gladiator Lancer. This is just something. They're inexpensive. A character. I mean, for one single miniature, sure, maybe $30 for a character is kind of expensive, which I totally get. But like, they're usually just one character, and yeah, that could just add in some extra flavor. And they're not always the best choice, but they're almost always a fun choice. They can do some things like mortal wounds with their psychic powers. Some of them can add abilities, like this unit can't be shot outside of 18 inches. They all do something fun. This one in particular comes with a Thunder Hammer, so he's pretty good in melee combat as well. Stop giving him ideas. That's what I'm saying, is the Imperial Agents, if he chooses to use them, are always fun choices, but maybe not necessarily an overpowered choice. So, those familiar with their current rules will recognize the Assigned Agents Army rule, which allows a certain number of... Oh, I already read that part. This new codex also features Watchmasters, Corvus Black Stars, and Watch Captain Artemis returning to the range after an absence. Oh, they pulled his model for a while. It's interesting to see that they're bringing him back. It was a lot of people surprised when they pulled his model from being sold, because he was a fairly new miniature. I think it was just towards the end of 7th edition or beginning of 8th that they released Artemis. So you can include a full Death Watch contingent in any Imperial army, complete with leaders, squads, and transports. Sounds like that Corvus Black Star, which is a beautiful, beautiful flyer. I mean, flyers aren't good in Warhammer 40k right now. However, it is one of the best looking flyers in the game. I think so. It's Forge World, but the Xiphon Interceptor is my current favorite flyer. But if we're looking outside of Forge World, if we're looking at just plastic GW models, I think the Corvus Black Star is my favorite flyer. No, don't throw it back in the closet. 8th. Okay, Hellworks just confirmed that Captain Artemis came out in 8th edition. With those full Death Watch Space Marines... those with full Death Watch Space Marine armies needn't worry. They can add Death Watch specific units to a Space Marine army of black-clad units like Intercessors, Terminators, melding the strong foundations and attachments of Codex Space Marines with theme specialists from Codex Imperial Agents. Grey Knights, Terminators, and Battle Sisters squads show up in a new requisition category. Priests and navigators are joining the party too, providing guidance in both spiritual and very literal sense. Alright, so how many agents of the Imperiums can you use? So in a incursion, so 1,000-point game. You can bring 1 retinue unit, 1 character unit, and 1 requisitioned unit. Interesting. And then, so I'm guessing that would be like a Death Watch veteran squad, Watchmaster or Captain Artemis, and then a requisition unit. It sounds like your Grey Knight Terminators or Battle Sister squad. So you can just have a full bag of Skittles as far as different Imperium units in an army. What is the Ordo Xenos? Okay, so I'm going to go back up here to the Ordos. I think it's here. Okay, so there are 3 sections to the Inquisition. And one of them is Ordo Xenos. And those are the Imperial Agents and Inquisitors specifically assigned to safeguarding the Imperium from different alien species, or Xeno species as it's called in this game. And all of them get special rules in fighting anything with the Xenos or alien keywords, such as orcs, or Tau, or of course, I'm sure you'll love this, Tyranids. So can I use them with my guys? No. They're alien hating Marines. They're going to get bonuses against your guys. Now, notably, Inquisitor Eisenhorn is of the Ordo Xenos. Very nice. That may be one you want, Greg. Look into Inquisitor. I'll help you. We'll look into Inquisitor Eisenhorn in just a little bit. Oh, okay, I'm getting them. I face this extinction level threat from the wife, so I have to. If you go anywhere between 1,000 and 2,000 point gain, you'll get 2 retinues, 2 characters, and 1 requisition unit. And then, of course, Onslaught is 3, 3, and 2. Should you instead wish to field an entire army of Imperial Agents, the Codex offers 4 new detachments, each with their own detachment, rules, stratagems, and enhancements to the mix, allowing you to support a full inquisitorial force with no limitations on the number of units you can take. 3 of these detachments are themed around the major inquisitorial ordos, while the 4th one represents those forces with significant Imperial Navy backing. You can take the Navy as a detachment? That is crazy. Anyways, that's going to be the first rule we look at. The Imperialis Fleet Detach. It's so cool that you can bring the Navy in as a faction. The Imperialis Fleet Detachment can call down a wide variety of support options to redeploy, avoid harm, and fight in close quarters. It's a great way to experience this entire spectrum of Imperial Agents, as it has the Traitors, Inquisitors, and more as you wish, while Navy, Breachers, and RBD's Enforcers single out critical objectives to secure it at all costs. So, detachment rule, at all costs. At the start of your command phase, you can select one of the following to apply. Number 1, eliminate it at all costs. Select 1 enemy on the battlefield until the start of your next command phase. Each time Agents of the Imperium makes an attack against that target enemy unit, add 1 to the hit roll. Nice. And then acquire at all costs. Select 1 objective marker on the battlefield until the start of your next command phase. Agents of the Imperium within range of that objective marker improve their leadership and objective control by 1, and models in the unit have a 5+ invulnerable save. Very nice. This is good stuff, Mythos. I'm glad you're doing this. For me, this is great news. Yeah, this one is cool. Like, I don't necessarily know how strong it'll be, but if you can put some Death Watch in that, you can have some Space Marines getting +1 to hit and +1 leadership and a 5+ invulnerable save. That would be pretty cool. Inquisitors themselves are versatile leaders who can support a wide range of units. Are those guys out yet? The Codex is not. The models are already out. So things like some of the units they mention here, the rogue traders, the assassins, the inquisitors, and the breachers and arbites. Okay, so I guess you couldn't put the Death Watch in there, but still, all of those things get all have models, and they all get this rule here. Inquisitors themselves are versatile leaders who can support a wide range of units, and their blessed wardings can now grant a 6+ invulnerable save to their unit, in addition to the command point regenerating Power of the Rosette ability. Alright, so this looks like the just the standard Inquisitor. You get 2 rules here. Blessed wardings give you a 6+ invulnerable save. Power of the Rosette. Each time you target this model's unit with a stratagem, roll a d6. On a 3+, you get a CP back. It's not just the rules that are new, though. Those who read Arcs of Omen, the Lion, may remember a certain Inquisitor getting back in action after all the mess that went down around the Wormwood. Inquisitor Lord Coteaz has a vast network of agents to do his bidding, but when matters require the personal touch of his massive demon hammer, he takes to the field in a huge suit of gleaming power armor. Now, this is the model that a lot of people are having problems with. I personally like the older version of this model better. But the Cyber Eagle got bigger, which is pretty cool. I saw someone say, I like tactical rocks, but somebody said the fact that the bird has its own tactical rock is a war crime. So there are elements of this that I like. The pose with the demon hammer down. Okay, so I like the demon hammer. I like the fur-lined cloak with the oh my gosh, what are they called? They are called the Oath of Moment papers, I like that. I like the Cyber Eagle. The Cyber Eagle is my favorite part, of course. The little belt strap across the armor, holding up his cloak and his hip sack. Cool. But the armor itself just looks so poorly proportioned. As Purity Seals, thank you. As Hellworks there calls it, diaper armor. And I think that's what it is. I think the weird proportions here just does make it look like a big old adult diaper. The curve here on the gauntlets and kind of the smooth gold kind of areas is one of the things that makes me feel like it is inspired by Age of Sigmar armor. And I guess maybe the squat nature, like it's so squat and thick. I'm guessing it's supposed, like, this is just a shot in the dark trying to give them benefit of the doubt. I'm guessing that it's supposed to look like it's off like the ratio is off, because he's a human in a suit of power armor, which is normally made for superhumans like Space Marines. And so the fact that he's too small to wear the suit, I think, is what they're trying to show here, but it just looks terrible. And he seems to have learned from LeBron James. His hairline came back. Oh yeah, the older version of the model was bald, wasn't he? Okay, so let's see why everyone is in a fuss. So this is what he looks like now, and this is what we had before. Where's the images? Not shopping. More images. There we go. And this is what we had before. And I am of the opinion, personally, This is now. This is that. I personally feel this one is better. Also, they replaced our bald eagle here with, you know, a more generic looking one. But, I mean, don't get me wrong, the bird itself looks cool. But yeah, this to me, the proportions are better. I like that there's more detail to the armor. And yeah, he doesn't, in the words of Hellchild there, he doesn't look like he's wearing a big adult diaper. But, oh my gosh, I know what it is that is throwing me off. The hips are so large, they almost look like, what is that Wallace and Gromit movie with the mechanical pants? That's what it looks like. The original has a much more imposing stance and more ornamentation. He looks important. Yeah, exactly. I agree. Like 100%. And I always love the falcon on the arm kind of thing. But yeah, the proportions are better. It is better decorated without being too ostentatious. And overall, it just looks better. And you're right, the pose does work here. He does look important here. Okay, now I have to ask. Wallace and Gromit pants. The wrong trousers. Okay. This is what it's giving me. That is what it's reminding me of. He's got a bit of wrong trousers here. People have been memeing that. I had no idea. That's just what came to my mind too. This is why it looks so off. Oh my goodness. He's got the wrong trousers. Look up Wallace and Gromit's Coteaz. Let's try the Google. Whoops. Whoops. Do. Supposed to get a Discord. Good. I want to see this. Okay, we're going to take a look at that real quick. That is perfect. Oy vey. Yeah, they messed up big time with this. That is funny. So if anyone wants to add Lord Inquisitor, well, I've never seen Wallace and Gromit. Is this Wallace or is it Gromit? All right. Brother Roxas, yo. How goes Roxas? My brother Roxas recently got in. I think he said it's like 30-something BattleTech minis. So we're going to be having a large focus on BattleTech sometime here in the near future, and it's going to be awesome. So yeah, so going from, what was it, this to the new model of this, I can understand why a lot of people are upset. And I honestly, this is one of the few occasions where I think the old one is the better look. Just let me know when you want me to bring them over. Oh man, anytime. We're gonna be a little busy Saturday, but Sunday I'll be home all day. If you want to drop them off. Oh cool, the bird's even got his own necklace. I like that. Ah, this is what I was talking about earlier, Greg. Of course, right, RP. Oh, and that's right, and you after that you'll be sleeping for work. I knew about RP, but I forgot that you're third shift now, so obviously after RP would be ridiculous. Don't scare me. Oh, no. I totally planned on being at RP. Brother Roxas is our GM for Vampire the Masquerade, which we are playing now. And I am playing a detective in Louisiana that often works the night shift for reasons unknown. So yeah, Greg, earlier I mentioned the Corvus Black Star, one of my favorite, my favorite of the flyers from the GW range here, and it is just a cool looking model. Alongside him, 3 new Battle Force boxes will get you started with a diverse array of units suitable for the Ordo Xenos, Malleus, and Ordo Hereticus. Ordo Hereticus, of course, being the Inquisition, the side of the Inquisition that focuses on chaos, and Malleus focuses on. Is that the focuses on the witch? Ordo Mal, yes. Ah, the Demon Hunters. And Hereticus are... Okay. Hereticus are the Witch Hunters, and Malleus are the Demon Hunters. Thank you. So here, the Ordo Xenos looks like it'll have some Death Watch, very cool. A Corvus Black Star. That's Inquisitor Kyria Draxus, which I recently painted up here on the channel. Looks like I want to say that's oh, my brain is not working today. I want to say that's the Psychers who put the ships in the... Okay, sold some of Ashley's stuff on eBay. Don't tell her now. I just need your advice on the best box sets. Yeah, we'll take a look at the Inquisitors here in a second. As far as their old rules, obviously they're going to get some new rules, but I'll tell you what, I can't. Looks like a rogue trader squad here, back here. Looks like a servitor, tech priest. Okay, some pretty cool stuff in the Ordo Xenos box. The Ordo Malleus will have Coteaz, some Grey Knight Terminators, and I want to say that's the new Inquisitorial Retinue Squad. Looks like we got a servitor here as well. And this looks like a Chimera. And then Hereticus. We'll have some Sisters of Battle. Some Arbites here. And the Inquisitorial Retinue Squad as well. And their Inquisitor will be Greyfax. Okay, so this one is the Witch Hunters. This one is the Demon Hunters. I think that's a cool one because of the Grey Knight Terminators. And this one is the Alien Hunters. And the Death Watch gets anti-alien keywords, the Black Star will, and of course you'll have your... Now you have to decide. Yeah, I think... We haven't seen the rules for them, but I think, you know, these things here with the anti-alien will be, you know, a good spot of interest for you. Now, I did download Battlescribe on here. Does have Warhammer 40,000 on it. So how do we start a new list? All right, Greg. We're going to look up some of this Ordo Xenos. Yeah, that's, I mean, most likely. That's what looks good for you, right? All right. Slide this over just a bit so that way y'all can see my face. All right, Greg, let's look up some of this for you. Add force. We're going to select Imperium. Let's see. Agents of the Imperium. All right. Have you ever used Battlescribe, Greg? It's a great free resource. It's much easier, I think, to use on the phone. But by doing it this way, I can kind of show you some things that's going on here. All right. So these are different things that you can use in Agents of the Imperium right now. Again, this doesn't cover the new stuff, but like I said, it is... you know, just a peek at what it can. You haven't used that yet. Well, it's free, and you get all the rules you need right here for free. So, we were just looking at Inquisitor Coteaz, and obviously, I'm just hovering over Coteaz. You'll see some of his rules pop up that way, but we'll be able to click on everything and go through it in more detail. However, this is the one with the new model that came out. Obviously, he's going to get some new rules. But just to take a look at what he's like right now, let's go to view selection. Been fun. Got to get up early and bring the wife to her new job tomorrow. Well, congrats on her new job, and yeah, have a great night, buddy. Can you send us that? I absolutely can. This is the This site will take you to their website, and of course you can use your Google Play or Apple App Store to download it. Like I said, it works better on the phone, personally, in my personal opinion, but it also works well on the desktop too. You'll excuse me one second. I'm just going to send this over to Greg and Ashley. And actually, if anyone else is interested, there we go. Battle Scribe. Again, that is nothing malicious there. That just goes right to the Battle Scribe website. All right. All right, so looking at Inquisitor Coteaz, the new, well, not the new guy, but he's getting a new model. Shows you his selections, what he comes with. He comes with a bolt pistol, a demon hammer, psychic blast. He's got abilities for him listed here, his rules, his keywords, all good stuff. All right, so when he's leading a unit, it can go in any transport that its bodyguard unit can be in. So if you attach him to a unit, he can go right in with them. And what can he be a leader to? Any Imperium battle line infantry. So that means your regular Space Marine battle lines like intercessors or assault intercessors. He can go right with them, or inquisitorial henchmen. But any Imperium battle line, so that is cool. He has a 5+ invulnerable save. He has an ability called Malefic Warnings. When he's leading a unit, all models in that unit, so if he's leading your Space Marines, all of the Space Marines in his intercessor squad that he's with will have a Feel No Pain 5+ ability against psychic attacks and attacks made by demon models. So he may not be the best one. I mean, psychic ability is still pretty good because lots of Tyranids do have psychic attacks, but you won't get that demon part. Each time your opponent gains a CP as a result of an ability, roll 1d6. On a 2+, you also gain a CP. So if Ashley has anything in her army, or anyone else you play with, have something in their army that lets them get back extra CP, you'll also get CP when they get CP. The Nemesis Demon Hammer, you get 3 attacks. You're hitting on 3s. You get Strength 9, which is really good. -3 armor piercing, damage 3. Flat damage 3 is so good. And it's considered a psychic attack. That is so good. Flat 3 damage, -3 armor, and 3 attacks hitting on 3s. That's so good. On top of that, you'll get a bolt pistol, strength 4, no AP, 1 damage, nothing, nothing to write home about. But his other ranged attack is a psychic blast. You'll get D6 shots, hitting on 3s, only strength 3 and -1 AP, but it's flat 2 damage. And even though it's only strength 3, you've got the anti-infantry 4+ keyword. What that does is that if they're any kind of infantry, you're going to be automatically wounding on a 4+. Now, not only are you automatically wounding on a 4+, they're going to be considered critical hits on a 4+. Next, you have devastating wounds. Now, devastating wounds says that anytime you get a critical hit, usually it's a natural 6, that will be considered a mortal wound, which means no saves of any kind. Now, let's go back. Because you have anti-infantry, you'll be getting criticals on a 4+. That means those criticals will translate into devastating wounds. So anything on a 4+ will be mortal wounds, no saves of any kind, 2 damage pop. That's so good. D6 of those. So yeah, he's good. And then, of course, if you needed a breakdown of what some of these rules on here say, here's a little called selection rules. It's just a breakdown of different rules on your character sheet. So, good stuff. Ashley says, no, hell no. -3 on armor, like that. Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, Coteaz is good. That's why I added him to my Imperial Guard. Or actually, I added her because mine is a lady, Coteaz. Another Inquisitor. I believe that Thomas said, either Thomas or Inquisitor, friendly neighborhood Inquisitor said Eisenhorn was anti-Xenos. So let's take a look at him. View selection. Let's pop it big. All right. So Eisenhorn. He has the same authority of Inquisition, so whatever unit he's leading, if they can get into transport, so can he. He has first abilities called Dominate Will. At the start of your opponent's shooting phase, select one infantry unit within 12 inches and visible to this model, and roll a 6. On a 1, you suffer D3 mortal wounds. On a 2 to 5, each time that model makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. It just says any attack. It can be a ranged attack. It can be a melee attack. Subtract 1 from the hit roll on a 6 until the end of the phase. Oh my gosh. On a 6, they can't even shoot. Isn't that amazing? Hey, Jar Jar Binks, what's up? Misa just talking about the Inquisition. This model also has a 5+ invulnerable save. It can also be used with all of your Imperium battle line infantry. He comes with the melee weapons, Rune Staff, and whatever that is. It's 5 attacks, strength 3, hits on a 3, strength 6, -2 armor, damage 2, and psychic. So it's pretty good in combat. Now strength 5, it's Misa going to hurt you. What is this? Why are you reading about Mandalorian weapons? I am currently painting, which was showing off a little earlier. I'm painting some Mandalorian stuff from Shatterpoint. But then we're also talking a little bit about the new Warhammer 40,000 Codex coming out for Imperial Agents, including the Inquisition. And one of our friends here in the chat had questions about some of the Inquisitors, so I'm just going over some of the Inquisitors for you. Artificer bolt pistol. So this one's a little bit better than the other bolt pistol we were looking at, Brother Greg. Strength 4 and no AP, but 2 damage. But his psychic power is called Mind Assault, which is 2 attacks, hitting on 3s, strength 5, -2, flat 3 damage. It's got devastating wounds and precision. So on a 6, you'll get mortal wounds, and also you can target any character in another squad. It no longer has to follow. Okay, that's cool. No idea what Shatterpoint is. Shatterpoint is a tabletop Star Wars game. It's considered a skirmish type game where you're playing as a small number of people. In Shatterpoint, it's usually either a 4v4 or 8v8. But yeah, it's a small number of models, and it's a tabletop game. You know, you move around using rulers, and you roll some dice to see your attacks hitting things. It's a pretty cool little tabletop game. I enjoy it. Oh yeah, so to devastating wounds and precision. So you will be able to snipe characters out of your opponent's armies, which is pretty cool. If they have like a, I don't know what kind of leaders that Tyranids can take, but if they have a character leading one of their normal units, yeah, you'll be able to snipe those characters right out. And I wanted to say, so I don't see anything specifically anti-alien on this, but still pretty good. And the Inquisitor that I am looking forward to running the most is Kyriadraxis. We'll check her out. Ooh, would that help my Primaris Eliminators? Let's go. Let's take a look at them. Oh wait, Eliminators are not battle lines. So, if we take a look at let's say we'll just add a force of Ultramarines. Alright, so if we look at your Ultramarines here, this says which units have the battle line keyword, which are considered your battle line infantry. You have your assault intercessors, heavy intercessors, regular intercessors, and Space Marine tacticals. And then you'll see your different infantry down here, including your Eliminator squad. Had to ask. Hey, yeah, it's a good way to find out. So, yeah. If you have any other questions like that, I'm always happy to help. All right, Kyriadraxis. This is the one I'm looking forward to using. Kyriadraxis. I just realized I've been full screening that and just taking it out of proportion. All right, Kyriadraxis. It's just not showing over here. There we go. All right, Kyriadraxis. Well, actually, we started with Coteaz. The next one we were looking up was Eisenhorn, right? You said you were interested. So if you wanted to know what Eisenhorn looked like, Greg, this would be your guy right here. That's one you could add to your Ultramarines. And now we're moving on to Kyriadraxis. No. Well, that's her. That is her Lexicanum entry. Let's try and find one of her actual model. eBay, Amazon. Warhammer.com. No. Okay. Anyways. Here you go. Kyria Draxus. Alright. She also has a 5+ invulnerable save, Greg. She also can join your battle line infantry. She has an ability called Psychic Veil. In your command phase, the Psyker can use the ability. On a 1, takes D3 mortal wounds. On a 2+, until the start of your next command phase, this Psyker's unit can only be selected if its target of a ranged attack within 18 inches. So outside of 18 inches, her unit can't even be shot. Xeno Hunter. While she's leading a unit, each time a model in that unit makes an attack that targets an enemy unit, which that's a Xeno unit, anything non-Imperium and non-Chaos, add 1 to the hit roll. So if you put her with your intercessors or heavy intercessors, they're all going to get +1 to hit. That is pretty good. And it says makes an attack. It doesn't say a ranged attack, so it could be in the attack phase too. If you were taking chain swords from your assault intercessors to some Tyranids, or if you were shooting them, yeah, they'd all get that +1 to hit, which is pretty sweet. She also comes with a Power Fist. She hits 3 attacks, hitting on 3s, and 3 attacks hitting on 3, strength 6, armor piercing of 2, and 2 damage. She has a rifle called the Dirge Singer that is 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, strength 4, 0 AP, damage 2, and it's also, like we talked about earlier, anti-infantry 4+, and devastating wounds. So if you hit a 4, or if you wound on a 4 or more, they will be automatic mortal wounds that cannot be saved. And it's got the assault keyword, so you can even advance with her unit and still shoot that rifle. She has a psychic ability called Psychic Tempest, 6 attacks, hitting on 3s, strength 6, damage 2, no armor piercing. It has the indirect fire ability, which means she doesn't even need line of sight to see, and sustained hits 2. So if you hit any 6s to hit, you're going to get 2 extra hits per 6. What the F? You don't need her. What was her name? Kyria Draxus. This one, I think it would be, out of all the Inquisitors, I think this one would suit your army best. Now, one thing, her ability means she can't be shot, or her unit can't be attacked from anything outside of 18 inches, but all of her weapons are inside of 18 inches. So something to keep in mind. But if you position your unit just correctly, maybe that one unit she's attacking is the only thing in 18 inches, and the rest of her unit will be safe from the rest of stuff. So just something to think about. If you put her with your intercessors, or your heavy intercessors, bolters all hit at 24 inches. So they will definitely have range on whatever she's attacking. So yeah, all stuff to think about. Snipers here in in these Imperial Agents, you could have a Vindicare assassin, and while he wouldn't be able to be led with your eradicators, it might be good to have him on the field, him doing some sniping and your eradicators doing some sniping, kind of like sniping from 2 different angles, So here's Vindicator Assassin Greg. Vindicator Assassin. They have an ability called Deadshot. Each time it makes a ranged attack, if a critical hit is scored, add 3 to the damage of that attack. So you wound on a 6. If you hit a 6 to roll a 6 to hit, it automatically gets 3 extra damage. That's pretty awesome. After this model has resolved its attacks, select one enemy unit that was hit by one or more of those attacks. This unit must take a battle shock test. So that's pretty awesome. The model has a 4+ invulnerable save. Once per battle, it can fire a shield breaker round. If it does, until the end of the phase, each time this model makes an attack with that weapon, no saving throw of any kind can be made from that attack. Not a saving throw, not an invulnerable save, no save of any kind. He has his rifle, which is the big damage, hits on 2s, strength 7, -3 armor, D3 +3 damage, and if you had scored a 6 to hit, it would be D3 +6. Also, devastating wounds, and ignores cover and precision. So, lots and lots. No cover, possibly no saves, and yeah, can target enemy, any character in a unit. That's pretty awesome. So that might be something to consider if you want something that will complement your eliminators. So yeah, there's some cool stuff to look at. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here now. Do you want to save this roster? Nah. All right, I need that also. I'm going to apply for food stamps and tell the state I am a GW customer and need help with food. Should work as I bet one of the workers plays Warhammer. Well, there we go. All right. Let's see if we can go back to the article. Or was that the end of the article? First, we'll swap this back over to the previous screen. Regardless whether you send an entire army of agents out into the field or add some support to your favorite Imperial faction, such as Ultramarines maybe, you'll be able to engage in secretive shadow operations with in-depth Crusade rules available to any Crusade force that includes even a single Agents of the Imperium character. There's a lot to cover in there, and the rules are extremely thematic and fun, so we return to shadow operations at a later date. Interesting. Finally, don't worry, Grey Knights players. This is only the first chance you'll have to send your Terminators off in a demon hunting crusade. There will be a dedicated Grey Knights Codex on the way next year, but there are still a few factions to get through before the Knights of Titan start to peek their shiny battle plate over the horizon. I'm glad you liked the information tonight, Brother Greg. I thought you might like it. I will also do some digging for some possible files. Actually, I printed out a Vindicare for Brother Atlas a few months back. So if I have something, I'll send it your way. All right. And that is the news for tonight. So it's pretty cool. Now, one thing I'm interested to see how people feel is about the Death Watch as a faction. Some people, I'm sure, who have collected a big Death Watch army are probably sad to see Death Watch no longer have its own codex, and I can understand that. I remember Freak had very similar feelings when Imperial Fist no longer had their own codex. But it's not as bad as it looks. Whilst some of the Death Watch specific stuff has gone into this Imperial Agents Codex, they're not really losing their whole army, because the parts of their army that were just different themed regular Space Marines can still be done. They can run the Death Watch specific units with a Codex Space Marines Codex, and of course you can just have them all painted up as, you know, Death Watch, and a lot of the rules will still be good. I myself was actually tempted, because of how many weeks that, you know, Death Watch was considered the bottom worst faction. Everything okay, babe?
I just heard somebody scream.
Okay. But yeah, I was tempted to just make a regular Space Marine army and flavor it with Death Watch, and thinking that at least Gladius or one of the other factions would be able to make Death Watch work. But now they're kind of going in that direction anyways, where they'll have their dedicated Death Watch units and then just regular Space Marines. What I'm interested to see is how well the Codex synergizes that. You know, are the Space Marine side going to be like completely split off from the Death Watch side? Will there be able to be any shared buffs or interactions or combos between them? Will you even be able to take your regular Space Marine units and put them in, say, the Corvus Black Star? Will that be specifically only the Death Watch units? I'm very interested. It sounds like the Corvus Black Star is going to get the dedicated transport keyword, but I'm really interested to see how it all plays out. Thanks, Mythos. Now Greg is going to kill my guys more now. I'm going to be honest with you. I have not found any, I found there's some cool combos with Inquisitors and with Inquisitors and Assassins, but personally, in my experience, they're not overpowered. For instance, because the Vindicari has very powerful shots, but only one shot at a time, you'd be surprised how often they'll go like half the game or more without hitting anything. So they're very cool, they're very fun, but yeah, they're not super duper powerful or anything. I think you'll be okay. And if you think about it, Assassins are kind of expensive, so that's like 100 points for Greg to take one shot every turn. You know, it's not as powerful. I mean, like, if it does hit, sure, it's powerful, but you know, in the long run, like, it is, the thought of it is cool, and when it spikes, but when it doesn't, you know, it's like, ah, man, I can't believe I paid 100 points for this. So it's cool. I think you'll be all right. But yeah, and again, I think the Inquisitors are fun, but I don't think they're super overpowered either. I think you'll be all right. So, I will check my files, and I'll check around the usual suspects, my mini factory, cults, stuff like that, and I'll let you know what I find. So, with that being the news tonight, I'm going to again leave off on the Star Wars miniatures I painted up for Clan Kryze. I got to find out this other character's name. And no matter what this one's name is, because she's played by Sasha Banks, I'm always gonna think of this character as Sasha Banks. But yeah, I'm really pleased with the way my Mandalorians have come out. I'm looking forward. Thank you so much. I'm really super pleased with the jump pack flame effect. Or smoke effect. But yeah,
So I'm doing their leader, Bo-Katan, probably sometime this weekend. Nice models there. Thank you so much. And I'll be working on more. I don't think you guys were here at the beginning. Atlas and I played a learner game of Shatterpoint last Saturday. We met up at a local game store. And because it was new to both of us, like I've played it before, but I had somebody kind of, walking me through it. Our friend Steve over at V-Twin Gaming walked me through both of those games. And I remembered a good bit of it, but there was so much more I didn't realize that I didn't remember. So it was good to kind of be there with my nose in the book, going through the rules together. And I think by putting my eyes, like not only playing it, but putting my eyes on the rules themselves and in the book while we played, I think that's going to help it stick. I think the other thing that's going to help it stick is, it's been like over a year since I last played, and I think actually getting in a couple more games, maybe more close together, it's also going to be a big help. Brother Atlas says he's out of town for, I think I told you that he was moving away. It's just a couple hours away. We'll still hang every once in a while, but it won't be as often as before. So he's going to be out of town for a hot minute, but when he comes back in town, we're going to try and play again. And normally, I would be tempted to alternate to something like Warhammer, but because we really want to learn these rules, instead of alternating, I think we need to play a few consecutive games of Shatterpoint just to help the rules stick. You got to get through the stickhead here. But that is the show for tonight, fam. Let me know what you think of the Inquisition and the Imperial Agents coming down in the comments below. Let me know what you think of Eisenhorn. Personally, I and many of my friends prefer the older. Did I say Eisenhorn? I meant Coteaz. Let me know what you guys think of the new Coteaz. Great show, hun. Have a good night. You guys too. Big loves to you guys. Big loves to all of you who stopped by the show tonight. I really appreciate you all. Hanging out with you guys is one of my favorite ways to kick off the weekend. If you guys like tonight's show, please make sure that you grab up an ox and smash that like button in the name of the Emperor. Drop me some comments down below, and if you guys are not yet subscribed to any of the Friends of the Frost and Fists, down in the description where it's got the link tree of the Friends of the Frost and Fists. If you guys are not subscribed to me, we would love to have you as part of the pack, part of the hobby family here on the Frost and Fist. Until next time, guys, stay frosty.